Hello everyone, I'm back with a new topic after a short gap. I believe all of you are doing great amidst this grave situation of COVID-19 infection. Here, we will be discussing on prokaryotic cells. Let us straight away dive into this interesting topic. At the onset, let's define this so-called new term, prokaryotic cells. They are the cells that is devoid of a true nucleus and organelles bound by membranes. Prokaryotic cells are synonymous with primitive cells that originated almost 3.5 billion years ago. In comparison to eukaryotic cells discussed in my previous presentations, prokaryotic cells are much smaller, ranging from 1 to 10 micrometer. All the reactions in a prokaryotic cell occurs within the cytoplasm, which is the enclosed single membrane, because it has less DNA to create the proteins needed to make an ultra-efficient membrane. As you can see, the first picture on the extreme left is that of a bacteria. In the middle is cyanobacteria or blue-green algae, and that on the right-hand side is that of an archaean, all of them depicting the different types of prokaryotic cells. Next slide highlights some of the salient features of prokaryotic cells. Nuclear membrane is absent in prokaryotic cells. In addition, common cell organelles like mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, plastids, and the likes are also not present within the cell. Only a single chromosome carries the genetic material. Prokaryotic cells lack histone proteins. Cell wall in a prokaryotic cell is made up of peptidoglycan. The plasma membrane acts as the mitochondrial membrane carrying respiratory enzymes. Reproduction in prokaryotic cell occurs through binary fission. Here we can see a typical capsule-shaped prokaryotic cell. A cross-section of a part shows the cytoplasm containing ribosomes and entangled strands of DNA called the nucleoid. The cell wall is enveloped by tiny fiber-like structures called pili. A comparatively long tail-like structure persists, technically called the flagellum. As seen, the cell is covered by a cell wall that homes the pili, and beneath this lies the plasma membrane. In this slide, we slightly go deeper into the cell membrane and its allied layer, together called as the cell envelope. As you can see, the envelope of the cell can be broadly divided into three distinct layers, namely glycocalyx, cell wall, and cell membrane. The arrangement of these covering films is like a sandwich, where the cell wall is bound on both sides with the cell membrane towards the inner face. To understand these strands better, let's define them. Glycocalyx is a coating of molecules on the external of the wall made up of sugar and/or proteins. Likewise, cell wall is an additional layer that has a semi-rigid structure, providing mechanical strength to the cell. And the cell membrane is a selectively permeable membrane that regulates the passage of substances into and out of the cell. A little more details and we are into the sixth slide. Glycocalyx is a very specialized layer and may not be present in all prokaryotic cells. It is comprised of polysaccharides and amino acids and is sticky in nature. Further, glycocalyx can be of two types, slime layer and capsule as they are normally called. Capsules have a gluey, sticky consistency, providing protection as well as adhesion to solid surfaces and to nutrients in the environment. Bacteria that are covered with this loose shield are protected from dehydration and loss of nutrients. Likewise, bacteria that possess capsules are considered to be encapsulated and generally have greater pathogenicity, which is the ability to cause diseases, because capsules protect bacteria even from phagocytic white blood cells of the immune system. The adhesive power of capsules is also a major factor in the initiation of some bacterial diseases. Slime layer is water-soluble and loosely attached to the cell surface. It aids to attach to surfaces, prevent dehydration as well as store nutrients. Biofilm is a living ecosystem made of millions of bacterial cells, their wastes, and other extracellular products. Biofilms enable certain bacteria to resist phagocytic engulfment by other living cells in soil and water, and some bacteria to stick onto surfaces and colonize. A very common example of biofilm is Staphylococcus biofilm. Now, talking about cell wall, it is a layer outside the cell membrane which has a semi-rigid structure and provides strength to the constitution. It is made up of an ingredient called peptidoglycan or murine. Tetrapeptide comprises of 4 amino acids, namely L-alanine, D-glutamine, L-lysine, and D-alanine joined by peptide bonds. The chains are cross-linked to one another that extends off the N-acetylmuramic acid NAM sugar unit, allowing a lattice-like structure to form. For this kind of tight binding of the constituents of the cell wall, it helps in providing rigidity to the contained matter. This firmness of the cell wall maintains cell shape in addition to keeping out toxin molecules, thereby protecting the cells from osmotic lysis. Bacteria can be classified based on the structure of cell wall and reaction to Gram staining. According to this kind of classification, bacteria are Gram-positive and Gram-negative. Gram-positive bacteria are those that have a thick layer of peptidoglycan, while Gram-negative bacteria have a thin layer of peptidoglycan. Gram-positive bacteria gives a positive result in the Gram stain test, which is traditionally used to quickly classify bacteria into these two broad categories according to their type of cell wall. Gram-positive bacteria take up the crystal violet stain used in the test and then appear to be purple colored can be seen through an optical microscope. This is because of the thick peptidoglycan layer in the bacterial cell wall. On the other hand, Gram-negative bacteria cannot retain the violet stain, making the cell wall more porous owing to the presence of a much thinner peptidoglycan layer. Gram-positive bacteria include Corynebacterium, Mycobacterium, Nocardia, and Streptomyces to name a few, while E. coli, Salmonella, Shigella, Enterobacteriaceae, Pseudomonas, Moraxella, Helicobacter are some of the prominent Gram-negative bacteria. Cell membrane is a selectively permeable barrier that regulates the passage of certain substances in and out of the cell. It is a biphospholipid layer composed of phospholipids and proteins. Cell membrane, asymmetric and elastic in nature, has enfolding on its surface, which aids in increasing the surface area of the cell membrane. Mostly Gram-positive aerobic bacteria have folded invaginations called mesosomes, which help in respiration, cell wall synthesis, and DNA replication. Main functions of the bacterial cell membrane are synthesis of phospholipids and acting as an osmotic permeable barrier. Next, we shall discuss about cytoplasm and ribosomes. The cytoplasm is a jelly-like substance composed of water, enzymes, nutrients, wastes, and gases. It contains chromosome, plasmids, as well as ribosomes. The functions are cell growth, metabolism, and replication are carried out in the cytoplasm. Ribosome is the only common organelle of prokaryotic as well as eukaryotic cell. They are smaller than eukaryotic ribosomes and have a vaguely different composition. Ribosomes in bacteria are 70S, composed of a smaller unit 30S and a larger unit 50S. Ribosomes' function is to translate the genetic code from the molecular language of nucleic acid to that of amino acid, which aid in building proteins. Here, we will discuss about nucleoid and plasmid. Nucleoid is a region of the cytoplasm where the chromosomal DNA is located. It has single or multiple chromosomes which aid in replication of cell. Chromosomes in nucleoid contain DNA and the molecules of RNA and protein. It is an established fact that chromosomes have large loops and supercoils, whereas plasmid is a small, often circular DNA molecule which is separate from the bacterial chromosome and can replicate independently. Other subparts like flagellum, pili, fimbriae, gas molecules, crystals of inorganic and organic materials, as well as chromatophores are also present in the prokaryotic cell. Here is a table to understand the comparison between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. The information presented in these slides are primarily collected from the sources which are primarily academic or from government organizations. I hope I could provide an overview on prokaryotic cells. From the core of my heart, I thank you all for being with me. To watch more videos, please check the description box and also the cards appearing on the top right end of this video. Stay tuned for more videos coming up shortly.